All right, y'all, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you guys being here and watching the video. And if you have not, hit like and subscribe and continue supporting the channel. Now, what I want to talk about right now, it's going to be brief, but right to the point. And it is the current state of affairs, the current market when it comes to business credit, business funding, and obtaining capital with business credit cards. Now, a couple of years ago, it was open season. Let's say during 2020, 2021, you could go to any bank with all the money in circulation after all the money printing and the low interest rates, and you could get large amounts of business credit cards. Now, mainly I'm going to be talking about business credit cards, but I will put in a couple of other things like loans and business lines of credit. But back then, a couple years ago, it was open season. You could get access to a ton of capital for fairly easy with pretty decent credit, and if not, pretty average credit. Right now, things over the last year, just working with clients and knowing tons of other people in the space who are kind of in the same realm as I am, although we may operate a little bit differently, is that right now, more than ever, which is what I preach on this channel all the time, is first of all, relationships with bankers and with banks, and of course, personal credit foundation, your foundation of your personal credit. Right now, more than ever, it is more important than ever to make sure that you have a good personal credit setup. And that just doesn't mean a good credit score. A good credit score doesn't really mean anything other than it looks good on paper. What it really means is the foundation of what makes up your credit score and the thickness of your profile. Because you could have a 760 credit score, but you only have one credit card, and it could be a Discover 5K limit credit card, and you're going to go get denied from business credit cards and applications, or you're going to get extremely low limits on those cards. So right now, it's more important than ever to be able to build up your personal credit by having personal credit cards with relationships or with banks that have business credit cards and good opportunities there. The way that you do that is you have 3 to 5 personal credit cards. You can have more, but you want to make sure that a few of those credit cards, of course, have larger limits, over 10K. If you can have a card over 20, 30K, that is really good. Because what happens is, even though you're applying to business credit cards, what they're going to do is pull your personal credit. So they want to see that you can handle larger limits on the personal side, that you're making those payments, right? If you have any negatives on your profile, you need to go to credit repair. You need to get those things removed off of your report, because that just makes things so much more challenging. You don't want to have missed payments. You don't want to have collections. You don't want to have charge-offs. Those things should not be on your report if you're looking for business credit. The only way that you can even bypass that is if you can truly show tax statements or revenue statements of a lot of money coming into your account. So right now, more than ever, it's more important to build up your personal credit. Make sure that you have high limit credit cards and that they're with banks that you're interested in getting business credit. So a Chase Bank, an American Express, a Citizens, a US Bank, these things, Bank of America, these banks, you want to have these relationships either built personally or by opening a business checking account as well. So build up your personal credit limits, improve those credit limits by increasing those credit limits before you end up going for capital or funding, because you want to be able to show them that you can handle large amount of limits, that you make those payments on time, and you're not utilizing more than 10, 20% of your personal credit limits. Now, the other piece with the personal credit side and building your foundation is making sure that those cards are aged. Now, if you're getting into this, of course, you may not have a lot of personal credit cards that are 5, 10 years old, because you're trying to build the relationships just like I talked about. So what you can do to be able to improve the overall age of your report is get an authorized user. Get someone, a family member, a friend, a parent, an aunt, an uncle who has a credit card that is, a larger limit, hopefully, right, over 10K, but it's not that big of a deal because we're looking for age, but a card that is 10, 20, 30 years old, because that will help to improve the overall credit age of your profile. When you have a longer standing credit age, it just shows that you are more trustworthy to them rather than someone who has just gotten credit over the last year or less than a year or 2 years old. So building up the thickness of your profile by improving the credit age is also important. So those relationships, those personal credit cards, and that age by adding an authorized user from someone that you trust who has a good credit report and it's an older card is going to help you out. Now, the second piece, which goes back into the first one, which is the relationships. So, yes, there are business relationship managers. Right now, I will say this, and the best way that you can get credit cards, business credit cards, over 20, 30K is working with a relationship manager. Now, me, in the space, I do have relationship managers that I work with. I don't just hand them out. I only allow people to utilize them if they work with me specifically. So if you're looking for funding or getting access to capital and you want to work with someone on a consultative basis who will be able to help you get capital for your business, then great. I can connect you with my relationship managers because that's how I operate. I just don't hand it out because having relationship managers right now is super important, and it can be really challenging to find really good relationship managers, especially with specific banks. So just recently I helped a couple of clients out with Chase, and they just off one card were able to get 50 and 60K credit card approvals on just one card with Chase. And that's the difference, where if you were to go do it yourself, which is another situation, I was helping someone with information for free and they decided to jump the gun without building out more of their personal credit, and they received a 3K limit on the same exact card, on the same exact application by doing it themselves. And that's the situation that we're in now, is if you jump the gun without the right information and the right things put on your profile, that's the difference between $55,000, $57,000 on one card. So relationship managers are really, really crucial. And the reason being is they help with the underwriting process. They can help push for certain limits. And you can really only, there's not a ton of banks that just have relationship managers. So there are banks like Bank of America, Chase, PNC, Citizens. But the problem is sometimes people believe they're working with a relationship manager, but really they're just a normal banking manager. They're just putting in the application and they have no hearsay or help in terms of helping with the approvals. So you want to make sure you're actually working with a proper relationship manager that can help you out with that. So that's why you see a lot of larger limits with Chase, because there are more relationship managers with Chase, and it's a little bit more challenging to find a true, really good relationship manager or operator with a lot of the other banks. You have to work through a lot of them. You have to speak with them. And because of the way the lending is going right now and the banking system is, a lot of relationship managers are scared to work with people specifically in, I guess you would say, the funding space, because they feel like their guidelines are a little bit more strict now too. So it's just really important to find a good relationship manager. So that is what I'll talk about there in terms of relationship managers. If you're looking for help in terms of business credit, reach out to me on that side of things. But with that, the other relationship side of things is the personal credit relationships and building or opening up bank accounts with the banks that you're looking to be able to establish a relationship with. It's just like shaking hands. If you apply without having any relationship, no personal card relationship, no banking relationship, they're not going to trust you as much. They want to be able to see some money flowing in there. They want to be able to see some type of activity. They want to be able to have that relationship with you. So it's just like shaking hands with the bank by opening bank accounts, by putting some money in there, by having it in there or showing activity for a certain amount of time before you do applications, because that's going to help. That could be the difference between a 5K limit and a 15K limit or a 25K limit, right? Those are big differences when you're going for capital, especially if you just have one business. Now, you do have more opportunity if you have multiple businesses, because you have more time and you have more applications that you can run through under each business. But if you just have one business and you're just getting started and you're looking to scale, grow, and get capital for that business, you have to be very strategic. So right now, when it comes to business credit, when it comes to business funding, you need to be very strategic. You need to make sure that you are making the right moves. You need to make sure that you're making the right relationships, building the right relationships, and that you're getting the proper information from people who are in the field doing it and who have those relationships built already. So those are some of the key factors that I want to talk about, just to give you guys insight into what's going on with the lending space, with the banking space. If you're someone who's searching for these videos and trying to find the information, hoping that it's as easy as 1, 2, 3, put in an application, you can get $100,000 to $200,000 worth of capital. That just isn't the case right now. It just is not. And I have always preached for the last 2 years, no matter what, it's super important to build up your personal credit, treat your personal credit like gold, and then take advantage of the business side by having the right information. Now, in terms of the rest of the space, I have no ill will towards anyone else who is in this same industry helping other people. But there are a lot of people really taking advantage of being able to get people capital. And I'm not saying they get good results or bad results. There's some people who get incredible results for people because they've been able to build those relationships. But people are charging an arm and a leg, 10 to 20. I mean, 10 isn't terrible, but like people are charging up to 20% to get you capital. And imagine you getting $100,000 in capital on business credit cards and then having to shed someone 20 grand off that commission, right? One client is making them $250,000 a year if they get one client a month. And for me, that's just, I don't know. To me, that's just not right. Taking so much of a percentage when it comes down to getting people capital. If you want to do that and you want to work with those people and you really need the capital and you know where you want to put it in your business and you know you're going to get a 20% return, if not more, on that to pay back that commission fee, totally fine. Go ahead, take advantage of that. But the way that I operate is a little bit different. I don't charge those high commissions, and I think it's better to put people in a better position and help consult them on the right opportunities that they can make moving forward. So either way, if you're looking for options or people to work with out there, just be aware of what's going on. It's not bad at all. I mean, business is business, to be completely honest. And if you have a plan with it and you know you can make that money back with how you're utilizing it in your business or how you're scaling it, then great. You got the capital you needed and you were able to put that into good places. The other key piece when it comes to relationships is if you are looking for loans or business lines of credit, you also need to understand what banks are really like with BLOCs, with business lines of credit. There's certain banks, once you hit a certain threshold, that are going to put UCC filings on your business. Like Chase, if you get any type of BLOC, no matter the amount it is, they're going to put a UCC filing on your business, which isn't terrible. It just tells other banks that you basically have money you need to pay back or a relationship with them that is under contract. And sometimes that can steer other banks away, especially in this environment, to lending you. So you need to understand what banks, in terms of business lines of credit, are either going to put a UCC filing on a BLOC at a certain threshold or a certain amount of money, which is important to know. And then with loans too, similar to if you build a really good relationship with American Express, they're literally handing out 6.5% to 7.5% loans, pre-approved up to $40,000 just in your email for a soft pull. So when you have these relationships built and you take them serious, you'll literally get email offers from Amex or other banks who will pre-approve you. And the cool thing with Amex is it's not even a hard pull on your credit. It is literally a soft pull up to $40,000 with one of the lowest interest rate loans that you can get on the market right now. And so that is something to think about when you build these relationships. If you want to take advantage of loans, personal loans or business loans, because you've built that relationship out, they're willing to hand you more money because you've had time to build trust with them. And when they build that trust, or you have built that trust, they're willing to give more money to you. And when you can put it in places in your business and you can make a return and you know how you have a plan with it, then that's great. You want to utilize the bank's money to be able to bring money back into your business and in your pockets. So that's another key piece with relationships in terms of BLOCs and loans that you can then utilize. So I know this, I kind of went a little off direction here, but things started coming to my mind as I was speaking. So that is really what I wanted to talk about. What is the current state of the market when it comes to business credit, when it comes to obtaining capital, when it comes to obtaining lending, in terms of the banks, in terms of the economy. That's where it's at. Make sure to focus on your personal credit. Build and thicken up your personal profile by increasing your credit limits, by building relationships with the banks that you want to operate with, and adding authorized users if you need to improve your current credit age. And then, of course, working with people that you trust, that are giving you the right information, that are there to help you out, and utilizing their relationships to be able to help you to get that capital. So either way, that's the current state of the market. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful for you to watch and understand. As always, drop your comments down below. What are your thoughts? What are you seeing if you're in the space? Drop that information down below to help others who hop on the video. And if you are a business owner looking to improve your current situation, access capital, you need help or education on the matter, feel free to reach out to me. You can reach me directly on Instagram is the easiest way, and we can see if it would be a good fit for us to work together. So I appreciate you guys for hopping on the video. Thanks as always. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.